There you go. Now, other political news. Did you see, I'm telling you, I don't know. I mean, I follow politics and stuff. This state Senate race is getting more and more interesting. And the Democrats, when you talk to them, they seem to be like whistling past the graveyard or something. Say, don't worry. We'll get to the campaign in the fall. But this Renzi guy's spending a fortune. He had spots over the weekend on Channel 3 during the primetime Olympic coverage. You know he was paying for that. Plus, he's got spots all over on DirecTV and on Time Warner. He did a mailer over the weekend that I got. They're spending a lot of money. So, I don't know. I don't know if the kid with chocolate on his face will help or not. It's kind of cutesy stuff, but, you know, the proclamation that he's going to clean up Albany, maybe it'll work or something, but there certainly is a lot of advertising for this young Dave Renzi. We could have a heck of a race on our hand. Although we'd like him, please, sir, could you spend a little money on the hotline? Could you make us a little money here? I mean, we have to eat, too. Don't just give all your money to TV, Time Warner and Channel 7 and Channel... No, I mean, yeah, I know they're going to get their share of the cash, but throw a little our way, too. I mean, we want a piece of this action. 755-12. We're home.
Hey, another thing on that Renzi, you see a lot of advertisements on Renzi.
Yeah, well, that is interesting, and when I talk to Democrats, some key insiders and so on, they'll say, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's still early. We're going to,
But why is the Democrats not pumping it out like cash-wise?
I don't know if they have that kind of cash this time around.
It's just as important to them down south as it is to the Republicans. It makes sense.
It's a key seat, and it's a seat that if the Republicans win it back, it will certainly go a long way towards helping them hold the majority. If it stays in Democratic hands, I don't know. There's still Republicans could end up winning this seat and still losing the bigger war. The way that if you look at races around the state, it just depends on a variety of things.
What's your take on Cantwell?
Bobby Cantwell, he seems to have a very well-organized campaign. He has, of course, the Karl Rove of Clayton, Kerry Brick, running his campaign for him.
Yeah.
And I think he's got a shot. I would have thought initially that given the demographics of the district, and if you look at the two candidates on paper, Addie Jenny might have added up to a victory and so on, but I think Cantwell's, he's certainly out there doing things, and he's not going to win on issues. It'll become a popularity contest.
Right.
I don't know. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I'd put money on him.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of muscle in that Clayton Opera House crowd there, so they can rustle up some cash as well as some people. I would say this, that if I had to say he's got an Achilles heel on the St. Lawrence County half of the district, with the college communities, the labor community up there, which will be behind the Democrat, of course, and just the fact that he's not one of them, I think it's going to be a tough road for him to hoe in the St. Lawrence County half of the district. But I
what I see, he's been working the county pretty good, parades and cookouts.
And all of that's extremely important. We do have two young candidates running, both interesting people in their own rights and so on, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I guess we won't know till November on that one. I don't know if there'll be any polling. I think this Senate race, I imagine after Labor Day, the Democrats will step up the pace. They've been kind of relying on the fact that the state legislature's got to go into session this month, and that gets Auburtine some gravitas right there. But, they don't want to... If I were them, I wouldn't let this Renzi guy get too much of a...
I know he's got quite a jump start there, it seems.
Yeah, but he's got a long way to go. If you look at that race, if you do the analysis of it, as I have, and being a veteran political analyst, if Oswego County does not have a favorite son in the race, because both candidates are from Jefferson County. So if Oswego County just delivers, the baseline Republican vote, and if that ends up being around 58 to 60, 62%, and assuming turnout is at historic levels, I would say Renzi would win. But if Auburtine can hold that to 55% or lower
Right.
in Oswego County, then I think he wins. Because I think Jefferson County will be relatively split.
In the district, what is the spread between Republicans and Democrats?
Well, it's like 80,000 to 45,000 or something like that. There's a huge margin, and that's why. And last winter in that race, what happened is it became an us against them race, northern against southern end of the district. Turnout levels ran a little higher up here because there seemed to be more interest in the race in this part, maybe because we're smaller. You know, it dominated our media more. So I'm thinking in a presidential race, turnout will be equal throughout. And, you know, if he can get up to that 58% of the vote in Oswego County, I think Renzi's, you know, got it licked. But
Interesting to see.
Yeah, that's we don't really have a lot of political reporters here who kind of write that stuff. Sort of the Bob Novak, God rest his situation there. But I don't know. We'll see.
All right, boss. Have a good day.
I know. Yeah, definitely. This Bobby Cantwell thing is hard to read. Seems to be certainly waging a vigorous campaign. Just have to see what happens. And then there was there's been a little, one of those subtext issues that exists in this race. And everybody inoculates himself and says, I'm not going to do negative. I'm not going to go negative. Well, everybody goes negative because you're trying to draw distinctions between yourself and your opponent. But, this issue of, and I don't know if it is an issue, the fact that Addie Jenny Russell has a newborn baby given birth to this year. And whether there are, that's argument beneath the radar. Well, she shouldn't be running for elected office and so on. I don't think if she had her druthers, she would have run this year. I think she was the seat opened up and she had to run for it. But that's one issue that's being used against her, sort of on the QT and so on. As far as Cantwell, I think the Democrats are kind of just hoping that his name recognition is low enough that the natural demographics of the district will push the race their way. Good afternoon, Hotline.
Yeah. What happens come the end of September and all of a sudden Auburtine starts really pouring it on and all of a sudden all the signs to go out and everybody says, boy, he's really building momentum and
right.
Boy, he's coming on strong and it's the end of the, it's towards the end there when everybody's home and paying attention to...
Right. Right. Well, that could very well be. And there's an argument. I mean, obviously, as the challenger, Renzi has to get out early and try to do this spade work over the summer.
Right.
I've been in that situation. The first time I ran, you had to do it then, and build up that rapport with voters. Now, I remember there was a candidate I ran against a few years ago who said, well, the voters just took the summer off. And no, people who vote don't take the summer off. They're still paying attention.
Oh, they pay attention. I'm sure everybody's aware of the race, but you got to remember that if you're talking about gardening and spading the ground, getting it ready, you don't think that all that advertising he did last fall had anything to do with that?
Well, I think Auburtine's a strong candidate. I'm just saying that
through the holidays. I mean, I think sometimes what gets lost here in this thing is the guy's only been in office a couple of months. Maybe he wants to take somewhat of a little bit of a breather here.
Now, are you still, you were one of those dyed-in-the-wool cloth-coat Republicans who abandoned the party last winter, and are you still going to go with the Democrat now?
First off, I don't think I was ever dyed-in-the-wool anything.
Right.
I've always had an open mind about any candidate, regardless of what party they were involved in.
Right.
My main concern is who really proves himself to be a conservative, and I've always felt, and I still feel to this day, that Darrell Auburtine was one of the more conservative members on that Board of Legislatures way back when. And I know some dyed-in-the-wool cloth
coat
conservatives who would say the same thing, that he was a more conservative than some of their counterparts. So that's what I look at.
Right. Right. Well, it'll be...
There must have been some... When
you had one of those huge Auburtine signs on your property last time.
Oh, yeah. That's
billboard size, and so we knew where your sentiments lay, and I guess you'll be like a barometer this time.
Well, Darrell and I go back a long way.
Really?
When Darrell and his family had I had Darrell's grandmother insured, for crying out loud. And his father.
Right.
I go way back with those